Hey YouTube! Merry Christmas. It's Christmas Eve just now and I'm spending all day playing guitar. Yes, which is really what I wanted to be doing. Yeah, so this is... not done a video for this one yet. This is a Washburn A10 stage series. You might probably gathered I'm quite into my 80s Japanese guitars, and I think Washburn are probably my favourite make of 80s Washburn, of 80s metal guitars, Japanese guitars even. Yeah, so this one, the dating of these things, I suppose it's kind of half the fun. It's never really that obvious. Well, this one isn't. The serial number on this one is on the back of the cavity cover for the pickup selector. I think I think it's a late 70s one as opposed to being an early 80s one. They only made them sort of 79 to 81 or 2 or 3, something round about there. So the A, we'll just do a sort of stage series thing, so I've actually got 3 of them now. So the A series, which is, it's a bit shit actually, to be honest, calling it, because of the stage series is just like A10 and A20 basically was the guitars, and there was a B20 as well when they first came out. Whereas the Wing series have got, like, you know, the Falcon and Raven and yeah, they've all got cool names, whereas these are just like A10 and A20, which is a bit shit. So the A10 is, at the start I suppose this would be the basicer model. So this I believe has just as a set neck as opposed to through neck, possibly. We'll talk about that in a minute. Through strung like a Telecaster. It's got wooden control covers, which you would see if it was a natural coloured guitar. I don't know what colours these came in. I think these were all solid colour. Bound top. I suppose you'd say it's kind of like something, a Firebird or an Explorer somewhere in the middle. 2 volumes, 2 tones, 3-way switch. That's a harmonic lock bridge in there, so it's got brass saddles. It's quite a heavy bridge, and it's got like an Allen key bolt grub screw that goes in there and in there, which clamps the whole thing up, which is, you know, for sustain, I would think. This one has a plastic nut, or a bone nut, not the A20, which is the sort of deluxe model, would have a brass nut. Dot inlays, hockey style headstock, which isn't, it looks cool, and I think it totally matches that. It's obviously been designed for this guitar and it works really nicely. There's other Washburns, actually one of the ranges I don't have any of, which is kind of just looks sort of like a sort of bulbous Strat, a bit like, you know, have you ever seen like the PV TA, whatever guitars they are, sort of just, but it's got that headstock. It just doesn't look right in a Strat, but it works for this. On a practical note, it's got a bit of an angle. You know, you kind of want these to be going up straight. That's a bit of an angle there between that to the E. It doesn't, I've not really noticed it causing any problems, but ideally you'd want all these to be straight. You know, like the way it is in a Fender, where they're on a straight line. And it can't be a coincidence that of the 2 A10s I've got, both of them, the headstock started to split. That's it, you can see it there. It's maybe probably just the lacquer, but when that screw get put in, I think there's a weak point, kind of runs along here somewhere. These, I don't buy these for full price. I buy, you know, ones that are beat up a bit. So this one does have, they've got their battle scars. These were expensive guitars in their day. Yeah, so you've got the A10, which would be this power sustained bridge. So it's a harmonic lock bridge, power sustained pickups, with my favourite 2 adjustment screws on the top. These pickups sound flipping marvellous. The A20, which I'll sort of skip a wee bit to show you, this is my B28. So this would be, there's a guitar version of this, and obviously this has got an extra strings on it, but see how it's got its neck through, and the A20 would have push-pull coil splits. This is the bass, so it doesn't, and the cool brass, circular inlays on the fretboard, and a brass nut. But see, if you look at the shape of where the neck through joins, it's pretty much, it's identical to what's on this. You can't see it because I've got the strap on it and I'm holding this guitar with this hand, but so you don't really gain anything in upper reach access by having the more expensive one. I'm not sure how set neck this is. I think it's a sort of semi set. It's like, you know, I think the neck probably extends in here somewhere. I don't know. I've never seen one in bits. But it's got a fantastic Toblerone style neck. It's really triangular, but because I wish more folk would make triangular. It totally sells me these guitars. I mean, regardless of the rest of the guitar, the triangular neck is just awesome, and it's asymmetrical as well. So it's kind of like a longer bit there than it does there because your hand's that shape, which basically means you can get right. And you can get your thumb. You know, I can actually play the high E string with my thumb just because of the shape of the neck. It's ridiculously good. So I'll make some noise with it. So this is bridge pickup. This one's got original pickup. Eventually I'll get good at playing up really high. I'm kind of doing it to show, from reviewing guitars I suppose, one of the things I should be doing is try to play it on the highest fret, and for fret access it's great. Just when you get big bass player fingers like me, it's quite difficult to play up high because the frets are so small. Right, so neck pickup. There's actually a video of UFO playing on, it's not the Old Grey Whistle Test, but it's something like that, one of your sort of early 80s British sort of rock shows, and the whole band are playing these. One of them's actually even playing a blue one. One guitarist, the other guitarist's got a white one, I think, and the bass player's got a bass. So I think they were maybe sponsored by Washburn, or the show was, or something like that, but it's basically this one. Although I think his one's actually an A20. I'm pretty sure you can actually see it says A10 on the truss rod cover. But as far as quality goes, these are as good a guitar as you can get. I'm pretty much getting that way. I think the best. It's quite a simple one. It's not it's not overtly fancy like the way the other one is. You know, the the 20 series. I mean, it's just, you know, it's got the tiger stripe maple and all that stuff. It's a really fancy looking. Look at the wood in the back. It's a really fancy looking wood. Whereas this one, it's got the quality. Whereas this one's got all the same quality. It's just it's not done with the fancy looking stuff. I will probably eventually get an A20. I've been looking for an A series for years now, probably about 5 years, to try and find one that would suit me. Obviously, I was wanting the one that matched my bass. This is the first of my Japanese collection. I bought that in Guitar. Before I had never heard of Washburn. I'd heard the name, but didn't mean nothing to me. But the fact it was an 8-string bass, and it was like pure, I might need to have an 8-string bass, and the fact it's also detuned. Pick it up, plug it in. Obviously I'm just playing it through a guitar amp, so it's not going to be given its full bass things. Also, I had to move the strap button because it was totally unplayable. So the strap buttons are way down here, and this is actually just a bit of snakeskin I cut up, so it looks quite Conan the Barbarian, which kind of suits it for this guitar. Right, so now it hangs perfectly, even though the strap's connected there. If it wasn't, the neck dive is just horrendous. Yeah, so this one has 4 normal bass strings with tuners up here, and then if you look up at the top, you see it's got ferrules for the thin strings. The octave strings come through that and then get terminated at these tuners. And unlike every other 8-string bass I've seen, this actually has, you can intonate both strings differently. This bridge, it looks a wee bit like an afterthought because the bridge is actually recessed into the body of the guitar, so if you want to adjust the intonation, you kind of have to take the strings off and the bridge off, which is pretty annoying. Luckily it seems to sound alright, well, enough for me to sound. So this has, as I said, the brass nut, brass inlays, fancy top, and it's a through neck, this one. It's still got the triangular neck, which is awesome. Right. No, this hasn't been plugged on for ages. Seems to be a lot of problem with dirty inputs now, every guitar I've got. Does it sound like that? Yes, I'm using the rat pedal because it just works with it. Where's my scoosher? I think it's probably just because I smoke. All this stuff's always, all my inputs are always mad. Great stuff that. If you get that in Gumtree or eBay, it's the Servicel stuff which I was using before was like £6 for a can. That was £6 for 3 cans, and as far as I can tell, it's exactly the same stuff. So, but the way I was looking at it, I've got a couple of cans up there. You probably can't see them. You might be able to see them just as spares for when I lose that one, because you always lose these things. Not play these things. Obviously, any guitarist or band's going to hate you for having this, but I mean, really, you don't need no rhythm guitars as long as you're playing driving. Yeah, so I actually bought this, you know, as I said, for the 8-string bass, not, and also because it was pretty cool. Pretty cool shape. So that was my introduction to the Japanese guitar. It wasn't until years later I realised it was Japanese, and it did have a serial number. I think this, I can't remember what this one was. I think this is 1981, and I'm not sure where these are made. Whether they're, I think they're Yamaki, which is was a sort of slightly higher end, low run Japanese guitar factory that was kicking about up when it closed in 1983. Old pickups, but it's when you get this sort of rumble going, say when you're playing Sabbath or something like that. You know. I've not played this long for ages. I really should be. Yeah, so this is still in what I'm calling the first run of the Yamaki made stage series. There is. So when it came out originally, there was only. Go for the third one as well. Talk about this one as well. This is the A10. This is the one I was waiting for ages to get a stage series guitar, and eventually got this one. And then, as luck had it, 3 weeks later, the blue one turned up. But this one has been modded. The previous owner had put horrible P90s in it, and it's like P90s in that. No, it's got a Caller, or a Japanese version of a Caller on it. I've replaced the pickups. I've already done a video for this when I put an Ibanez Super 58 and a DiMarzio in it, and it really didn't cut it for me. As soon as I got the one with the proper pickups in it, suddenly it was like, nope, wrong pickups. Are the Super 58, no, Super 80 and the DiMarzio were just too clear and jangly and stuff, for, you want a bit more. So I bought these Gotoh ones. They're a sort of funny shape. They're bigger than normal pickups. So aftermarket ones, and they're pretty cool. So we're blasting these. Hopefully this is still in tune. This is the first time this has actually been given the proper strings, like elixirs. surprised these pickups are more sort of shreddy 80s than the original ones that are in the other one. I never had them for this one. They're a bit more classy and expensive sounding, whereas these are sort of your high octane Randy Rhoads type. They're really nice. Whether they're actually better pickups than the ones I took, you know, the Ibanez one, the Super 80. I don't think they're not as worth as much money. I don't think they're better pickups, but for doing this, they're the right ones. That'll still be in tune. I find this is my first Cala. It's not actually a Cala, it's a copy of it. But the thing I find weird about it is where the arm comes from. It doesn't come from where the strings leave thingy, so it's like a different. What's the word I'm looking for? It's a different fulcrum where the lever comes from, like on a Strat. The lever is connected to your string, so it seems very connected, whereas these seem a bit, it's like almost geared, because you know the lever's here and then the thing that's getting moved is an inch away, so I think it's kind of the same. I've got a Wonder Bar that's a similar feeling. You get used to it, but it's got a sort of, it feels more like a sort of, you know, like a Bigsby, where it's like kind of operating something back here rather than operating the bit you're actually on. But I mean, it appears to work quite well. And I didn't bother. This had like a sort of locking. It didn't have a locking nut, but it had like string locks there, and I just took them off. And you can see if you look up there where the screw hole was for the truss rod cover. The previous owner had just moved the truss rod cover up a bit and then stuck a. In fact, I think it was actually a Floyd Lowe's locking nut, but it kind of went through the locking nut and then over the existing nut. So I'm not had any problems with it going out of tune. I'm not really a huge tremolo user anyway. I would much rather have had, you know, the original bridge and stuff, but what it meant there was that because this one didn't have the original bridge and the original pickups, it meant I allowed myself to buy the blue one because it's original. So this one had to be a bit different. So it's a little bit more shreddy. These pickups. And while I was in there, I put coil splits in as well. So these, like the A20 would have had coil splits. This one does now as well. So humbucker, single coil. And then the same. Both of them single coil. That was kind of just because it was in there. I could fit the coil splits to the blue one, but not really worth it. Yeah, so start of the range was the B20. That was a sort of special. I think the 8 string was a sort of special order. I don't think they made an awful lot of them. But you had the B20, the A20, and the A10 up until there was a change in about 1982. This one's 82, so in 1983 things changed and they moved factory to Tushin, I believe, and they down-spec'd the guitars a bit. The quality's, I've not seen any of the stage ones, but it works for the Force. The quality's not quite as super top level, but they're still fucking awesome. So after that they brought out an A5, which was a sort of budget one, which had a bolt-on neck, maple neck, and a sort of Telecaster arrangement. I had a single coil, 2 Strat single coils basically. It might even have had a Tele bridge on it, but it had the Tele, you know, the metal plate. Don't have a Tele line now, you know, the metal control plate. It had that on it, so that's the 5, which was 2 single coils, and then there was a 15, which had a scratch plate and 3 single coils, so it was like a sort of Strat version of it. And round about that time, this moved to being, one of the things you could see from this thing was it moved, the rhythm switch moved to here somewhere, so that's how you can tell from a distance whether it's one of the earlier ones or one of the later ones. And they continued making, so A5, 10, 15, 20, And there was even a 20/12, which has like a cut out there and the 6 reverse strings, kind of like the B28. You know, there's a sort of guitar version where it's got like the backward strung things, which I've seen photos of, but I don't think you ever see them for sale. There's a few of those these basses for. I've seen a couple of them. I think I've seen, since I bought that, I've seen maybe another 3, not for sale, but just people having them on the Washburn fan page and stuff. They also reissued them as well, so I actually almost bought a reissue one. You know, I've been looking for something to go with the bass. Actually, after I had this one and that one, another one came up. It was a wee bit more expensive, but it was in nicer condition, a red one. I just thought like having a red, a white and a blue A10s, just like... I quite fancy the A5 at some point, just because I quite fancy the maple neck. You often see the A5s, anyone I have seen has been modified, it's got humbuckers in it to make it a bit more rock. I've got to totally love this shape. It's fantastic. I've only just realised that I bought knobs for this. So I like, see the knobs I like are the sort of original ones that have got the sort of notches around the edge rather than being smooth. And it wasn't until last night, the night before, I was looking at it thinking they're actually the ones I bought the cheapest ones are smaller than they should be. The ones on this, the original ones are actually bigger. Size wise they just look a bit small, and now that I've noticed they're a bit small I find it really annoying, so I might have to look and see if I can get bigger ones. No, this guitar's the original one, this is the mod one, which is different enough from the original one just to justify me having it. But keep my eye open for any more sets of Goto pickups. These are shit hot. I'm really liking them. I believe they actually said 1986 in the advert I bought them for. I don't know if I don't think they're the sort of pickups that would be fitted to a guitar. I think they'd be aftermarket ones you could probably buy in 1986. Because obviously 1986, that's when things started going. Pickups started having covers like that. You know, they kind of looked EMG-ish. And you got a lot of black hardware and basically colours like this. But this is an earlier guitar, so 82. Yeah, so Washburn Stage Series. And if you think it looks like an odd shape, see once you've looked at it for a while. I mean, I remember when I bought the 8-string bass, I actually saw it in town when I was in with my pal on Guitar, and it was kind of hanging behind things. It looked pure. It's like, pure no way, an 8-string bass. I knew what it was, never seen anything like that before. And it wasn't until I came home I was talking to my pal, I was like, that 8-string bass was mental, I thought it was so expensive, and he was like, oh, it was only like 250 quid. I was like, was it? I thought it was like thousands. And then, because it was so fancy, and I didn't even look at it, and I was looking at the guitar shops, you see the through neck knot, and you go, maybe one day. So I phoned up the shop, and I was like, yeah, you've got an 8-string bass, and how much is it? Yeah, it was like, I think it might have been 350. And I was like, right, aye, cool. So I drove back in again, and basically it's the only guitar I've ever put HP on. Didn't have any money at the time. I put 50 quid on it, whatever it was I had. Paid it up over the months. I was going to review Callerstein as this is the first one. They're not worth 200 quid, which is how much they cost, I think. I wouldn't say. It is cool, but I mean, maybe if you're totally into your there's a wee bit of routing involved to get it in as well. You see what I mean? It's like when you bend it there, this bit moves, but your string doesn't. You know, your strings don't move, so it's like whereas on a Strat, you know, the saddles and everything are tilting. It feels funny. Yeah, so I think I'll do be talking shit about Washburn stage. Just get back to playing them today. Actually, quite tempted to do a video for the Wing series as well. I've got a few of them, and I've just fixed up my Eagle, which I've had for over a year. And the strings that were on it weren't that bad, and it was dirty, and it just didn't have time and never got down to it. So now it's got strings on it, and it's fucking awesome. Rocking.